Hello everyone! Welcome aboard the TQ Non-Profit Digital Voyage, a show where we talk about tech, social and public good, and how you can get involved. I'm your host, Imelia, and I hope everyone can sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. If you're ready, let's set sail! And now, on to our episode. Hello everyone, welcome to today's episode. I am joined today with the assistant manager from myHarapan. Would you please introduce yourself to our listeners?
Hi everyone, my name is Syarina Hisham, and I am the assistant manager of the Integrated Marketing Communications Department. And I overlook all of the business development work of myHarapan.
Nice. Welcome. And just to start things off, let's talk a little bit more about, your background, I guess. So before you joined myHarapan, or maybe like the non-profit scene in general, were you always part of in terms of line of work, were you always part of the non-profit scene, or did you make a switch from another line of career entirely?
Interesting question. So I won't say I actually switch because it is something that I am passionate about. Maybe I can just start with when I was much younger. I used to volunteer a lot. I am very involved with Kiwanis, and I also did sign language. Yes. But
are you fluent?
No, I'm not. So I got to pick it up again. I'm very fluent with the spelling, with the alphabets, and some signs of certain words, but I have to pick it up again. So it is something that I fiercely want to try and practice again. But, I've been doing it for 2 weeks, and then I stop, and then 2 weeks and stop. So I have to find time and see how I can continue. Yeah. But basically, how I ended up with myHarapan is, I think because I was I was actually studying in Australia before. I did my degree there, and then after my degree, I actually applied for permanent residency to work in Australia just to gain experience. So at the beginning, I thought that maybe whatever I learned there, I can bring it back to Malaysia. But then while I was working and while I was studying, I noticed something about the youth there, even my friends. So there are certain things that triggered my thinking, like, this is something that, we should, something that I should tackle. Like, I do see a lot of youth having the platform or opportunities given to them, but they don't take it up to immerse themselves or learn from that experience. So it is that has stuck with me ever since I was there studying, as well as when I was working. So when I came back to Malaysia, I thought of looking for an organization to work with that is youth-centric, but I couldn't find any. So I ended up working for a company that is converting cars from petrol to natural gas. So it's very different from what I studied. I actually studied accounting, but because...
that always happens.
That's true. Because when I was working there, while I was waiting for my PR, I did accounting and management information system. So because at that time they wanted accountants, so I applied. But while applying, I did part-time work, which is according to the requirements given by the visa, of course. So that is the time when I discovered my talent, what I'm good at. And accounting is something that I'm not so passionate about. I'm good at it, but I'm not passionate about it.
Yeah.
So that's why. So when I came back, I thought of wanting to become a motivational speaker. I just wanted to share with the youth what I've learned, working there, being, immersing myself in, studying overseas, because I still have my Asali friend, and I learned a lot from them as well. And it's not just them. There are other international students that I'm friends with, that I learn from them. And I feel that this is something that we should encourage, not shy away from, So that's what I wanted to do. But then I couldn't find any NGO that is youth-centric. So after a year and a half, suddenly I came across myHarapan on Job Street. and I just went like, okay, this is it. This is what I want to do. And so I applied, and I've been with myHarapan for the last 11 years now.
Wow. Have you been with myHarapan since like the beginning, or?
myHarapan was established in 2010. So I joined May 2011. So they established in August 2010. I came in May 2011. So yeah, almost as old as they were established. But yeah.
Wow, that's really inspiring. Yeah, actually, I'll talk about this in a little bit. But before we go to that question, maybe you can also explain to our listeners what exactly is myHarapan, and like what's the history behind the establishment, if you know. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So, because myHarapan has been around for 12 years, so there are milestones, and we pivot a lot as well. Let me just start. Let me just share on how we first started. So, basically, myHarapan was founded by 5 passionate individuals. They were passionate about entrepreneurship and youth. So these 5 founding members. So our CEO Nurfarini Daing, she is one of the founding members, who is still with myHarapan. The rest has gone into their own other ventures because they are entrepreneurs, right? Okay, so what happened was they started talking, these like-minded individuals. They started talking and they thought, let's do something for the youth, because at that time there was no organization that focuses on youth development. So so what they did was they gathered about 30 to 35 like-minded youth who are still in universities and college. The ones who are, into academics as well as into social initiatives. So they gather these students or these youth and had a focus group discussion with them. They asked, they dive into, what are their passion and about, why did they start doing these initiatives. And then they asked, they also found out that what are the sort of things the youth would want if, let's say, an organization was established. So this is where the interesting part is at, because the essence of myHarapan is from the youth itself. So they talked about having a platform whereby they can talk about policies, whereby they can talk about ideas without being judged, without being shut down. It's a safe platform for them to voice their opinions. It's a platform where they can connect with governments and corporates and talk about and share about ideas and challenges and see if they can work together. So this is one of the things that they wanted. Number 2, yes. So the other one is they mentioned about capacity building. In universities and in colleges, there are some things that they are not taught. Like, for example, how do you leverage with the media? How do you manage project management and stuff like that? So it's more of like capacity building. So they are looking at capacity building outside of university. And the final one, what they mentioned was an organization where it's easier for them to look at when they want to look for funding. Because they do have ideas, they have initiatives that they want to do, but funding is a problem. So they aren't sure of how can they get the funding. I mean, of course, there's sponsorship, there's fundraising activities, but they also want to look at an organization where there is a pool of funds and then they can come to with proposal and then, get some funding lah, basically. So the basis of myHarapan is these 3 pillars. And that 3 pillars is still around today, but we have pivoted in terms of program and how we do it. So, in a nutshell, it's a very long introduction, but that was the history lah kan.
No, it's okay.
So, in a nutshell, myHarapan is a not-for-profit organization, and our focus is youth development. But, yes, but there's a but. We use social entrepreneurship or social business as a tool to develop the youth. So the reason why we use social business is because we want to ensure, because at the end of the day, it's youth development. We want to ensure, our mission is to ensure that the youth, to develop youth to be more independent, to be wholesome and independent. So how we do it is through providing them options or choices and opportunities. So through social entrepreneurship, where they are entrepreneurs, as well as looking at social impact, where we combine these two, so we can have a socially conscious individual who is wholesome, basically. Yeah. So if they were to become social entrepreneurs, they are able to provide job opportunities. They are able to include the beneficiaries, the underserved communities. If they were to work with corporate, they are also socially responsible decision makers. They have that kind of mindset. So
I see. Yeah. I can definitely, empathize with that mission, I guess, because like I mentioned, just as a refresher to our listeners, to NERCO, we do have a similar mission, so I am able to empathize what you just mentioned, and I really, yeah.
Awesome.
Right. So thanks for that. And you've also mentioned that myHarapan has been around for 12 years now, so that means that you've passed basically your 10th anniversary as well.
Yes.
So it's been more than 10 years since the establishment, and more than 10 years for you being at myHarapan. So I guess, like, how do you feel being able to witness myHarapan achieving such a milestone, and to see yourself being with myHarapan and getting this far when you first started, or has it always been like a sort of like a long-term goal kind of situation?
I never thought that I would stay with myHarapan this long, because I don't jump work anyway. Previously when I was working in Australia, also I at least stayed with the company for 3 years, and then maximum 5. But this is the longest I've been with because I am happy. I love what I do, and every year there's always something new with myHarapan that I get excited about. So sometimes, Imelia, I forget that I am a youth plus. I'm no longer youth, When I give I'm youth, yes, but now I'm a youth plus. But yeah, I get excited every time. So, but to tell you honestly, being with myHarapan, I cannot believe that we actually lasted this long. Like, not in a bad way, but I didn't expect that, without LinkedIn, I guess I can mention that, the anniversaries, being with myHarapan, I'm like, oh wow, I've been with myHarapan for 6 years, and then wow, 10 years, so I didn't expect that I would last this long. But like I said, I am excited. There's always something that I'm excited about, and especially having developed partnerships, getting to know the partners throughout the years, developing relationships, developing partnerships. Even, there are some partners that are with us still until today. There are some of them who did not. It's normal. When we knock on doors, there's always there's a no at the beginning, and then we keep on going. Yeah. So we have partners like that. It was a no in the beginning, and then they started saying yes, and they are still our partners now. So I love seeing that, and that is what I appreciate as well. Because they can see the work that we do, and the impact that we have created together with them. And usually with our partners, we like for them to be more hands-on. We involve our partners in any way we can. So that's one thing I love seeing how the relationship has grown. Even and also, if I can just say that some partners have also changed their objectives. So maybe whatever that they want to do is not as aligned with us. So they don't necessarily support us anymore, but we still have that relationship going on. So that's what I like. And it's not just with me, it's with the whole of myHarapan team. So that's just wonderful. And in terms of youth, that is another story. Youth usually come and go, but ever since we started, there are still some youth that we still communicate with, we still engage with. Some of them have become fathers and mothers, so we attend their weddings even, so that's just one.
Oh, wow, nice.
Yep. So I'm still happy that myHarapan is around, but I'm hopeful to explore, with new partners for the future of myHarapan. Yep.
I think, because as you mentioned, especially youth these days, it's kind of like normal for them to change jobs every 2 years or so. So,
yep.
And it's like, when you reach the 10th anniversary, it's a very a big milestone even for yourself as an individual. And I can't imagine how it feels like, for the team as well. So
yep.
So just as information to our listeners, we did share a few conversations together through emails. Where the last email that you sent me, you previously mentioned that you're really busy with a couple of programs.
Yes.
So may I know what are these programs, and maybe you can introduce
sure.
Other programs that myHarapan currently have as well. Yes.
Sure. So maybe I'll just share a little bit about what the sort of programs that we do, and I'll dive into the program that we've just launched, that maybe we can share it with the youth out there.
Yes.
Okay. Yep. So basically, like I mentioned earlier, we have the funding department, we have the academy, and also research actually. So basically, under the academy is where all of the capability building efforts happen. So we have workshops that we provide. The workshops are different, but it all it surrounds capacity building, whereby it's about mindset, it's about mental toughness, it's about developing ideas, developing proposals. We have social business boot camps. There's also a workshop for ideation. We also conduct social impact measurement workshops, using theory of change, how to achieve those impacts so that it will be more meaningful. The work that you do will be more meaningful. We also conduct summit or conferences. This is where we provide that platform for the youth to have conversations with government agencies, ministries, or even corporates. So there is just some of the programs that we do. You can find out more on our website, of course, but yeah, so the two new programs that we've just launched is called Ready and Siri. So this Siri program is actually social entrepreneurship for rural youth.
Oh.
Yes. So this is actually a program together with the Ministry of Youth and Sports, and our strategic partner is also UNDP and also Ministry of Rural Development. So this program, or SERI, is actually targeted to empower rural youth to be part of the solution to the social issues in their community through social business. So basically, what we want is to encourage the youth in those in the rural communities to become social entrepreneurs, so that they can solve the social issues or any social need in their community. Because at the end of the day, they are the ones who are in the community, so they know what is needed. So that we tak shock sendiri lah, basically,
That's true actually. Yeah.
So basically, this program is actually a 6 months program. So what we want to provide the youth in the rural youth is that a platform for them to ideate solutions for the community and encourage entrepreneurship as well, whereby by doing social entrepreneurship, they can sustain the business that they're doing and ensure that the change that they want to achieve. So so this program is a 6 months program. It's not just an ideation program. At the end of the day, they will be given, not at the end of the day, but in between, within the 6 months, they will be given some seed money, not much, but enough for them to validate their ideas. So that, what we want is to provide them with a platform, a safe platform for them to test out their ideas, to see whether or not this idea and this business, whether or not it's Does it provide any impact? Does it provide any income? Are they able to conduct this, to continue this after the program? So they will be given at least 3 months to conduct this validation. And then after that validation, they will come back and pitch or share with that amount of seed money that they've received, what are the sort of solutions that they have provided for the community, and what are the sort of impact or even income that they have generated from within that 3 months. So our hope is, after this program, once they have done or implemented their ideas, we want them to be able to see that they can do this. It's like a boost of confidence, like, oh, I can do this lah, so maybe I can continue. So at the end of the day, we want them to continue this so that they can achieve whatever change that they want. So that is the platform that we're providing. It's called Seri. So it's a safe place for them to test their ideas.
I see. And the other one?
Yeah, the other one is actually with Yayasan Peneraju. Is actually an agency under the Prime Minister's Department, special duties, I would say. So their focus is to strengthen the capacity building towards sustainable talent. But the program that we are doing with Yayasan Peneraju is very specific to youth from the PWD community, which is the persons with different abilities or disability, right? PWDs, yep. So the program ready is called Resilient and Economically Empowered Youth. And this program, it's more of a skill-based specialization training. It's not to create social entrepreneurs, but it's to give them skills so that the PWDs have skills. But we are also providing them the option of apart from providing them the skills, we provide them option to become a social entrepreneur and also to enter gig economy. So we want to open their eyes on what's out there so that they can at least at the end of the program are able to not generate, some maybe generate, but some to receive an income of 1,200 at the minimum. I know that the current minimum is now 1,005, which is great. But when we were talking about this program, what we wanted, the target or the objective is to at least, ensure that they can start generating or receive an income of 1,200 a month. So that is a one program. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really interesting. May I know, like, what sparked the idea behind these two programs, especially Seri, where you target like rural youth, which I think is very unique because like there's not many programs that really specifically target rural youth. Yeah. So what sparked the idea behind this the two programs that you just mentioned? Yeah.
Okay. So there's two different stories here because it's two different partners.
Yeah.
But with Seri, actually, we have been doing this sort of competition since 2014 actually, so we've been doing it with different partners yearly, except for the last 2 years during the pandemic, because there's no way for the participants to implement their ideas on the ground because of the pandemic, right? So yeah, but from 2014, after we hosted the first Global Social Business Summit in Malaysia, we actually it was part of the pledge for us to continue to develop more social business entrepreneurs in Malaysia. So how we do it is through this competition. So since 2014, we've been doing this competition. We've created awareness about social business through the competition. We've developed entrepreneurs through this competition. And usually these competitions it's open to everyone. It's open nationwide for the whole of Malaysia. And the participants are usually urbanites who have ideas, who wants to be part of the solution for the communities in different areas. So they don't necessarily come from the community, but these ideas or these solutions that they provide are for some different beneficiaries. Some for single mothers, some for the underserved communities in maybe the urban poor community. So it's different target segments. So, but with the competition, we have never done very specific targeted to rural youth. So with KBS, the Kementerian Belia Sukan or Ministry of Youth and Sport, it is their objective to focus on developing the youth in the rural. So that's why the target this year is very specific to rural. So that's how it came about.
I see.
So instead of opening it to everybody, this one is very special. But just so you know, before this, with different partners, the years before, first we opened it nationwide, and then with different partners, we've opened it for Sarawak only. We have done for Sabah only because they don't really get these opportunities there as well.
No, they don't really.
Yes, that's right. So we found partners who are willing to conduct this program. To support us with through this program for the youth in Sarawak and in Sabah separately. So we've done that already. So this time is actually the Ministry of Youth and Sport. They wanted to focus on rural. So that's how.
I see.
Yep. And as for Ready, the one with Yasa Peneraju, I would say that we were very lucky because one of the things that we have not touched in engaging from myHarapan side is those youth who are disabled. It is a community that we want to tap into, and we've never done any programs with them. And so happened when we spoke to Yasa Peneraju, one of the segments that they want, or the demographic of youth that they want to conduct or have programs with, are the PWD. So through that conversation, we developed the ideas, what's their objective, what is our sort of program idea. So it was actually a 1-year discussion last year with this Ricky. And finally we finalized it, and we've just launched it this July. So that's how it came about. It's all about finding the right partner. That's why.
Yeah. Actually, when you told me about the DHD programs of the youth in Sarawak, it really caught my attention because my hometown is from Sarawak. So
okay.
Yeah, and I can say from my own experience, like this kind of activities is hard to come by in Sarawak. You really have to look for it. So I really appreciate that there was an effort to outreach for that as well. Yeah.
Thank you so much. No, because like I said, when we first started doing myHarapan work, we see certain things and we pivot. So we do see that there's not many participations from Sabah and Sarawak where we do the competition nationwide. So and usually, to tell you honestly, when we get submissions or proposals, the ones from Sabah, Sarawak are actually even more interesting because they really want it. They really want it, so they want to do something for themselves and the community. So the ideas is out of this world, I would say, so that's why we make it a point to try and find partners who can just focus Sabah saja and then Sarawak saja,
Yes.
And we've met many interesting individuals in Sabah and Sarawak. We were so happy.
I'm glad. Yeah. I hope there's more activities like that in Sabah and Sarawak.
I hope so too.
Yeah.
So too.
Yeah. Right. So, like you mentioned, so just to summarize what you just said, myHarapan, what they basically do, they want to empower the youth in Malaysia through various activities. And while I was researching what exactly kind of activities that you do, some of the ones that caught my attention was the social, like the one that you mentioned was social business workshops and boot camps where you can equip them with tools and practices so they can contribute to like a social issue as a social entrepreneur. Yeah. So based on your observation and your years of experience with myHarapan, what is the level of awareness among youth in regard to the various social issues that exist in Malaysia?
The level of an awareness?
Yes.
Okay, so basically, this is a good one actually. When we first started, you know, the level of awareness about social issues, I would say is actually I don't want to say quite low. It's actually very low, I would say. Yeah. For
Yeah.
example, for example, you know, there is this community who are above average on the left side of the area, and then there's a urban poor community on the right side of the area. For
Mm-mm.
example, yeah, they don't know, even, they are not aware of the existence of the urban poor communities, for
Mm-mm.
example, so when they don't know the existence of that, they don't know what are the sort of issues that these people are going through and stuff like that. So, you
Mm-mm.
know yeah, so when we first started, to tell you honestly, Amelia, our programs were more focused on creating that awareness. We were trying to put the two different groups together and understand each other, so that they can have empathy, so that they can
Mm-mm.
have so that the other group can build trust in the other group and stuff like that. So I would say those days, I would say very low awareness about what's the current social issues around that's
Yes.
happening. Yeah, so what they see is just what's on television, like the rampage and whatnot.
Yes,
But
yes, yes.
but they don't see any other issues, like maybe the single mothers or at-risk youth who are homeless, many different other things. But it is definitely growing for sure. In the last
Mm.
10 years, there
Yes.
are there are a lot of youth who are more, they want to be doing something for the community. They are more passionate to helping communities. I mean, I won't say 100%, but it has grown for sure. So,
Mm.
and for those that we have engaged, definitely, at least they understand the basics of what are the social issues. So sometimes when we do ideation workshops, we talk about and we share what are the social issues in Malaysia, for example, so that they open their eyes a little bit. So, and then the other part of the workshop is try and think about what are the other issues that you can think about, that you can think of. So
Mm.
yeah, I would say it's growing for sure. Yep.
Yeah, I definitely feel like at least youth nowadays as compared to like several years ago, they're definitely more socially conscious and like opinionated, because like obviously even it's not just social issues, it's more like if they consume media, for example, they tend to think more critically about that. So I
Mhm.
think, yeah, it really reflects on the change of mindset in the youth nowadays. But yeah, the reason why I asked that is because because before you equip them with the tools and practices, I think it's important
Mhm.
to know what exactly can they contribute to. So yeah, and with the how the non-profit scene like operate in Malaysia right now, it does make me wonder, like, how aware are they of the things around them, going on around them. So
Mhm.
yeah, it's good to know that the youth nowadays, they are more socially aware, I would
Yep.
feel. Yeah.
Yep.
Mm-mm. And another thing, moving on, another thing that caught my attention, because myHarapan teaches them various skills,
Mhm.
and to equip them in many situations. And to be honest, there are two specific skills that really caught my attention, because
Okay.
like they're not very common among all the skill workshops that I've seen before, and that is
Okay.
how to deal with difficult customers, one,
Mm.
and how to build mental toughness, or like say mental resilience. So
Mhm.
like I mentioned, I find it very unique, because not a lot of I don't feel like a lot of people offer this really specifically. So what made you
Mhm.
say, out of the skills out there, why these two skills? Yeah.
Okay. Good question as well. Okay. Now, how do I put this? Yeah. I think the reason why, like I said, we this mental toughness, or what do you call it? Uh, Coaching that we do, it didn't start at the beginning. We pivot according to the needs that we see that is needed within the youth. So that's how it came about. So basically, throughout the years that we've been, doing programs with the youth, apart from conducting the program and observing and also seeing the changes in the interest and how they communicate and react and act, their behaviors. There are also partners who are corporates and other organizations that talk about the challenges that they face with the youth nowadays. So that's how this come about. So we do provide business coaching, we do corporate counseling, because we do have in-house counselors who are certified to do this sort of activities. So some corporates who have employees with issues that they want to provide assistance with, they do come to us as well. So, and then one of the things that we realize in terms of entrepreneurship, especially mental, understanding their mental toughness is really important. So that's why, we do have, I won't say there is a course in terms of mental resilience, but whenever we conduct a program, especially with entrepreneurs, not ideation type of entrepreneurs who are just about to start businesses or their enterprise, but the ones who are already a social entrepreneur or who are already an entrepreneur. These are the ones that we want to be talking to, and these are the ones that we provide mental toughness program as a module embedded into our programs. So the reason why we do this, and is usually actually a one-on-one type of program. There are for example, there a 6 months program. So within 6 days, we conduct certain types of workshop. Business model canvas, impact measurement, blah blah blah, project management. But there will be a slot that we will have one-on-one sessions with the entrepreneurs to talk about, to talk about not their mental struggles, but it's more of like how to cope with challenges, understanding what are their goals. So this session is more on talking about their focus, how to their composures. Basically, it's a session giving them the tools to help them deal or cope with any stresses that they have. So I think that's very important, because sometimes they don't necessarily know how to deal with certain things. We have met entrepreneurs who break down when some problems happen, when in fact it's actually a small thing, but it's just how they deal with it. They just get overwhelmed. So that's where we come in terms of giving them the right tools to help them deal and cope with their stresses.
Okay, all right.
And also I'll just I just want to add that the why this skill is because at the end of the day, through this, understanding their own focus and their goals and how to compose themselves and deal with stress and cope with it, is for them to make decisions better. Also for them to be able to focus on their goals. That's why we focus on this mental resilience or mental tough sessions. Yeah.
I guess in relation to that statement, how do you think that the skills that you teach them, right? How do you think the youth can extend the skills beyond, say, like for entrepreneurship purposes or corporate settings? How do you think use these skills outside of that? Yeah.
I think this is not just for entrepreneurs. This can be used in anybody's day-to-day life, be it personal or social setting. Because nowadays we have a lot of it's all about social media. It's all about being online, but there's not so much interpersonal skills, right? So this is a skill that can be practiced anywhere to strengthen their inner ability to perform efficiently, whether at home, in a social setting, or even at work.
Yep. I see. Yep. Right. And my next question is, how do you go about? I'm curious as how do you drive youth engagement, for both your programs and also contributing to the social issues that you mentioned in general. Yeah.
So there's few ways. Of course, one is social media. I think because the youth is on social media, so we gotta go on the social media, of course. So there's Facebook. We have Twitter. Instagram, and now we have TikTok too.
Oh, you're on TikTok.
Yeah, yes, but we don't have much content for TikTok. Maybe not yet. We'll have to think more about that then. But yeah, we also do blogs. But certain platforms we've already, I won't say stop, but we don't promote or use it as much as Facebook and Instagram. But we also work with government agencies and corporates and other agencies. That's how we engage with the youth. But most of the time it's social media actually.
Yeah. Because especially now, social media is just everywhere. I guess
Correct.
You can't really escape it.
Correct. Yes. That's true.
Right. And in regards to this, like, I guess because you did say like it's not really like a course just specifically for the skill, you kind of like integrate in all your programs. So I do wonder, like, how do you when you teach them the skills, right, how do you measure the effectiveness of it? Like, how do you ensure that they learn, and not only learn about it, but they also like that they can practice what they learn? Yeah.
Okay. So our workshops are usually very hands-on. It's very interactive and hands-on. We make it fun, basically, because youth, they want it to be fun. They want it to be short and sweet. So our workshops are usually in that way. So we'll teach them and then we'll work in groups. We'll teach them and we'll work in groups. So whatever that they learn, they have to practice it by doing it. So so they do it immediately, and when they do it, we also assign one facilitator for each team, so that whatever that they do, they can also refer to the facilitator who is there. So that's one. Yeah. So that's one. Number two, for example, after the workshops, how do we ensure that they actually implement it? Is through, we usually have at least a 3 months connection or engagement with them to ensure that they conduct or they implement whatever that they've learned, and they can still ask us on whatever information that they need, basically it's a learning process. So we always have an exit plan. So we once we see that they understand what they're doing, so we correct them, and then so we leave. But when I say leave, we don't necessarily leave and let go. They still communicate with us every once in a blue moon, just to, and then we also connect them with other industry experts sometimes. So that's how we want to ensure to see how they grow and develop themselves as well.
How often are your programs actually? Like, do you have them all year round, or is it just certain seasons? Or
okay, it's actually all year round. So our calendars are usually very full, and then but I'll have to say myHarapan is very focused on work-life balance. So we work hard, but we play hard too. So we get our holidays. So if we work over the weekends, it's added onto our annual leave, so we can take longer leave and stuff like that. But so yeah, I forgot about the question.
Because I was just wondering, like, if you wanna, they're interested in joining you, right? Like, is there like a specific time of year that they should like pay attention to? Yeah.
No, it differs actually, because we always have programs running. So like, for example, we've just finished one program which started early of the year, and then there's another program that we started last year, but that program evolved to another program, which has not ended yet, but it will end next week. And then Seri and Ready started, it launched in July. So it's sort of like non-stop. So basically it's just as and when. But usually, if let's say we want to get the involvement of the youth, we usually look for interns, sometimes for specific programs. But for volunteers, it's open anytime that they, whenever we have programs, yeah.
And speaking of volunteers, if someone wants to join as a volunteer, how do they, do they contact you?
They can contact us at talk@myharapan.org, and then if there are any programs, it depends on what type of volunteering work do they want to do. Do they want to volunteer, manage a program, or do they want to volunteer as in become the participant, or or even work at myHarapan? So yeah.
Ah, okay. I didn't know you can volunteer as a participant as well. That's very interesting.
I'm sorry. I mean, it's also as a participant, as in during the program, they can volunteer as to be part of that program. Yeah.
Ah, okay. That's true.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah. Is there any particularly like memorable story maybe you'd like to share with our listeners as well throughout your years working at myHarapan?
Alamak. Memorable stories. Okay. I'm sorry. I don't. Okay. I think I would say, you know what? There's so much memorable stories at myHarapan. Oh my God. Because I think myHarapan is a youth-centric organization.
Yeah.
So we most of the time we do things and ensure that it's fun. Even when we do exhibitions, when we have our booth set up at events, we make it interesting. Whereby we to introduce what is social business, we will conduct a treasure hunt, for example. So instead of just the normal treasure hunt, this treasure hunt is more specific to doing and figuring things out that is related to social business, So there's so many interesting things. So maybe I would say one. I won't say interesting, but I would say macam the fact that when I won't mention the name of the event, but we were part of this company who conducted a career fair event, and we joined for the first 2 years. No, sorry, not the first 2 years, but we joined at least 2 years of the event that they conducted. The first time we joined that program, at that booth, we were the only ones who had colors. It was so colorful. We had candies. We had we had colorful bean bags. You know how career fairs are like, right? It's booth and then it's very sort of like serious.
Yes.
Yeah. So our booth were the only ones who had bean bags and colors and candies and whatnot, but we make it fun because it's youth. And the next year when we joined the career fair again, I see a lot of other organizations having bean bags at their booth as well. So I think that is interesting to see. because you get to gauge with the youth better because they come and hang out with you. We get to chat with them. So I think it's quite nice to see how we actually created that trend. Because next year you completely can see that other booths had beanbags as well. That was nice. Yeah. I mean, this
impacts, I guess.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I won't say that is interesting, maybe, but it's just nice to share memorable. That memorable. Yeah. And there are many other stories to share, like, but there's just so many lah, because it's youth kan. Even at the office, every Friday, because we have a longer break, the guys will go out and for the Friday prayers. So we'll hang out at the office during that Friday prayers because it's a break time. We'll set up our projector and watch movies together in the office, and have lunch together. So yeah.
That's nice.
It's part of the work culture, but after the pandemic, everything's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh wow. I hope that since the pandemic, we are trying to ease back into normalcy right now. So
yeah.
It'll go back to normal soon, hopefully.
Hopefully. It's already started to be normal. It's just that some days we go to the office, some days we still work from home. So hopefully we'll see how, because it's proven that we can work from home already. So I'm not so sure how. Yeah, but hopefully some sort of normalcy. Correct. Yeah.
Right. I guess my final question to you before we end things off. Aside from the programs that you mentioned before, which is Siri and Ready, and is there any other future plans that you'd like to share with our listeners?
Future plans, yeah. Okay. in terms of our future goals, we would like to see more myHarapan, maybe in the regional areas, in the regional countries, so that we can have, like-minded organization that can work like us, youth-centric, developing youth through social entrepreneurship. So it can be having offices in different countries. It can also be working with partners from different countries that has the same vision with us. So that's awesome to see. Yeah, because at the moment our focus is Malaysia. We do have partners that we work with outside of Malaysia, but in terms of youth, we would like to see more youth participation and having the organization just like myHarapan for the youth. Yep.
Yeah, I hope that you can achieve that in the next few years or so. Yeah, in the near future, yes.
Hopefully. Let's target Indonesia and Thailand first, maybe, because we already have our footing there. We've already done certain programs in those countries. So let's see how it happens. Yep. Hopefully it happens. Yep.
Okay. Thank you so much for that. We have reached the end of our episode. So thank you very much for joining us, and I really enjoyed the conversation that we had, and I hope that our listeners feel the same way. So before we go off, do you have any final remarks?
Yes, for the listeners out there, if you are interested to know more about us, please follow us on our Facebook page. You can find out about our programs there. You can contact us anytime via Instagram or Facebook, or you can email us at talk@myHarapan, myharapan.org. And if you're interested in joining our programs, Seri or Ready, let us know. And last but not least, we're looking for partners as well for the next 3 years. Hopefully, we are looking at green and younger generations. So we're open for collaboration. Let's explore potential collaborations and partnerships. Please do contact us. Thank you.
All right. If you're interested in being part of myHarapan in one way or another, please feel free to contact them in their all their available channels. And thank you as well to our listeners for tuning in. And I hope to see you in our future episodes. Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you all. Thanks, Imelia.
And that was today's episode. If you enjoyed today's show, please subscribe and leave a review. It would mean a whole lot to us. You can also head over to our website, thundercode.org, to gain access to our free digital resources. See you next time!